So then guys, welcome back to the channel for a brand new video. Of course, I did upload my two videos announcing or talking about the signings being announced of Noah Mwene and Jamie Miley on loan for Newport County. And today it is Game Week 4 predictions. Is it 4? Yeah, 4. Game Week 4 predictions for League 2. And we have got a good mate of mine and a special guest on the channel, Chris Welch. Carlisle United content creator. Do go and drop his channel a sub. You know, he's a genuinely really nice guy. And yeah, please make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe, get your predictions down below as well. Like I said, so we're going to go through my predictions, then Chris's for each of the games, and you know, give our thoughts and opinions on it. If you do go on to enjoy the video, like I said, smash a like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. Let's get into video, and hopefully let's get some correct predictions for me. Like I said, hope you enjoy the video. So then, the first game of this match day is the first of the two 12:30 kickoffs, and it is Gillingham taking on Chesterfield. A very good game, this one that you can see why it's a 12:30 kickoff. Both teams, you know, have good squads. Both teams have good managers. And both teams have started quite well this season. Gillingham sits top, of League 2, with Chesterfield sitting in 9th. Both teams haven't lost yet this season. Gillingham, of course, last week managed to get a 0-0 draw away at Fleetwood. And apparently, you know, they were quite good in that one. And Fleetwood just held them out, where Chesterfield drew 1-1. Against Salford City. I think this one's going to be a tight one, but I am going to edge with the league leaders and the home side, Gillingham. I'm going to go Gillingham 2, Chesterfield 1.
Hi guys, Chris Wells here. Obviously, massive appreciation to Mike for getting me on this channel for this week's Year 2 predictions. So starting off then with Gillingham versus Chesterfield. Two high quality squads on paper, especially for Year 2. Two high quality managers in Mark Bonner for Gillingham and Paul Todd for Chesterfield. And it should be a very good game. Could end any storyline, couldn't it? Could end any storyline, but I think both teams will score, but I think both teams will kind of cancel each other out. So I'm going to go for Gillingham 1, Chesterfield 1.
Next game then is the second and final 12:30 kickoffs on Saturday, and it sees Port Vale host Doncaster Rovers at Vale Park. Doncaster sits 6th in League 2 after 2 wins out of 3. Port Vale sit in 14th with a collection of results: 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. Last week, Port Vale did unfortunately get battered 4-0 away from home at Barrow, where Doncaster Rovers got back to winning ways with a 1-0 victory over Morecambe. Yes, they got beat by us 3-1, but either side of that, they win in 4-1 against Accrington, 1-0 against Morecambe, and maybe that result against us was just the result of us being a bogey team for Doncaster. Done the double over them last year as well. In terms of this one, I think Doncaster are in the better form, and I think Doncaster at this moment in time are probably better suited right now. I'm going to go Port Vale 1, Doncaster Rovers 3. We've seen that they can score goals. They've done that against Accrington on the opening day, and I'm going to go Port Vale 1, Doncaster Rovers 3.
So next game then is Port Vale versus Doncaster Rovers. You could call this the Downmoor derby, of course. The Downmoor former Doncaster manager is Downmoor, and Port Vale, they've not got off to the start of the season we all expected for the transfer window champions, we all called them, Port Vale. And I've always said I don't really rate Downmoor as a manager. I don't rate Downmoor as a manager. I think he got lucky with Sheffield Wednesday because Sheffield Wednesday already had the squad to get promoted, in my opinion. And I think it's starting to show that he's not, at the moment, he's not capable of managing League 2. It's Downmoor. But I think Port Vale will bounce back after that shock 4-0 defeat to Barrow, which was not good enough by their standards. But I think they'll bounce back. And for Port Vale 1, Doncaster 1.
Next game is at Plough Lane, and it is AFC Wimbledon taking on Fleetwood Town. Now, both of these two teams are in the third round of the Carabao Cup after AFC Wimbledon knocked out Ipswich on penalties and Fleetwood knocking out Rotherham. So both of these two teams are in really good spirits at the moment, and I think they will carry that over in this game. AFC Wimbledon currently sit 8th in League 2, whilst their match day 4 visitors Fleetwood Town sit in 11th. Both teams played quite well this season. Wimbledon 2 wins out of 3. Fleetwood haven't lost this season. Last week, AFC Wimbledon did did beat Cheltenham Town 1-0 away from home, whilst Fleetwood, as we mentioned earlier, drew 0-0 with Gillingham. In terms of this one, I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this one. I'm going to go AFC Wimbledon 1, Fleetwood Town 1. I think there's going to be a low-scoring game, this one, at Plough Lane 1-1.
Next game then is AFC Wimbledon versus Fleetwood. Two sides who've got off to quite a decent start to the season, both sides. And Fleetwood obviously had their own problems, but your side obviously is their son's now took over from their father. With the father obviously spent some obviously jail time. Well, AFC Wimbledon, I expect Wimbledon to be up there for the start. At start of the season, expect to be chancing for the playoffs. But my prediction for this game, the only thing with Fleetwood is I think they do lack goals for me. So in that case, I'm going to go for AFC Wimbledon 1, Fleetwood 0.
Next game then is Accrington Stanley taking on Colchester United. Accrington sitting 22nd in League 2, conceded 10 goals already this season, whilst Colchester United sit in 17th after 3 with a win. Last week, Colchester did lose, didn't they? 1-0 at home to Harrogate, which realistically is a result that shouldn't be happening. I did say Colchester are a bit of a dark horse this year, but they did lose 1-0 to Harrogate. West Accrington Stanley obviously lost 3-1 to us. And Accrington were poor last week. You know, we made Accrington Stanley look good. Sean Wally scoring a goal in that one. And Colchester losing at home to Harrogate 1-0. You'd expect Colchester to be winning a game like that. In terms of this one, though, I do think Colchester are much better than Accrington, and I think Colchester will surprise a few this season. As I said in my predictions, I'm going to go Accrington 0, Colchester 2. I think Colchester get a 2-0 away victory in this one.
Up next, for me, pretty straightforward game for me. Accrington Stanley versus Colchester United. Accrington Stanley, we are acting like the worst team in League 2. Pretty much everyone expected them to go down and pretty much finish bottom of League 2, Accrington Stanley. And they're up against Colchester. Colchester, I know they did that beat of Howard on the back of the feet against Howard, but it's the perfect game for Colchester to bounce back for me. And over Accrington Stanley 0, Colchester 3.
Next game then is Bromley taking on Crewe Alexandra. Now, Bromley lost last week 3-1 at Valley Parade against the very good Bradford City side. Crewe drew 0-0 with Swindon. And I didn't expect this to be sort of the way in which this game was going to be going 4 weeks into the season, but I would arguably say Bromley are the favourites going into this one. Crewe currently sitting currently sitting 23rd, of League 2, whilst Bromley sit in 7th in the last playoff place as it stands. And going into this one, as I said, I think Bromley are the favourites, and I think they're going to get a 1-0 victory over Crewe Alexandra. At the moment, Crewe just look all out of sorts. They look all over the place. And Bromley are putting, results and performances together. Fair play to them. I said I'd love it if they stayed up, and they're doing a very good job this season. Bromley 1, Crewe Alexandra 0 in my prediction.
Next game then is new promoted Bromley at home to Crewe. Bromley, who have started live to EFL football quite well, to be fair, probably overachieved expectations. Bromley, because people would have went them to go down. I actually didn't. I thought Bromley would stay up. I thought there would be worse teams than Bromley. In my opinion, obviously they did that beat away at Bradford, but I thought Bromley were quite unlucky in that game because they were down 10 men and And on paper, with the quality of Bradford, it's always going to be tough hats for me. Crewe not really had the same impact as last season. For me, there is a slight drop off from Crewe from the start of the season, after obviously the Worcester final, the playoffs last season. So, but I think Crewe do lack goals for me still. So there is a lot of hint towards at Crewe. So I'm going for Bromley 2, Crewe 0 as my prediction.
Next game then is Chris Welch's team, Carlisle United, taking on Tranmere Rovers. Now, Carlisle United, of course, lost 3-0 last week to MK Dons, currently sitting in 19th place, whilst Tranmere Rovers sitting in 12th. Tranmere got a very good win at home against High Flyer Walsall last week, which, again, I didn't expect to see that one. Obviously, Jamil Matt missed a penalty in that one for Walsall, so, they could have easily got away with, or they did get away with a bad result there, but Tranmere did get the job done in that 1-0 victory. And Carlisle have looked poor this season. The only win they got was that 1-0 win in the Cumbrian Derby. Daniel Adu-Ajayi getting the goal in that one. Again, I think it's going to be disappointment again for Carlisle, and potentially Paul Simpson very much on the chopping board. Carlisle United 0, Tranmere Rovers 1 is my prediction.
Next up then, it's my team Carlisle at home to Tranmere. Obviously, it really is depressing watching Carlisle at the moment on the pitch. Obviously, back-to-back thrashing away defeats to MK Dons and Trinham. Obviously, in between that, we did win the Cumbrian Derby at home to Barrow. But for me, it was still terrible in that game as well. Terrible and depressing to watch Paul Simpson football at the moment. All we want from Paul Simpson is to change his tactics, change his style. But he's just going to be stubborn, unfortunately. I think he's just going to be stubborn. And that's why he doesn't put us in dub plates. And that's why I've wanted him out since December. When we were in League One, where we don't know fight. Also, not just that, we should be playing good football, especially with the addition now of Jordan Jones. I mean, that's putting Simpson under more pressure now, especially after the Charlie White sign. Now you're adding Charlie White's best mate, Jordan Jones, into the squad as well. Tranmere obviously got two former Carlisle players, Christian Denson and Mari Patrick, who got Carlisle promoted in 2022-23 season. So yeah, it's going to be peak. And for me, yeah, I'm just not confident at all. Tranmere unbeaten so far in the year this season. They've actually got a good squad, haven't they, Tranmere, when you look at it as well. And I'm not confident at all. I'm going to be pessimistic. I'm going to go for Carlisle now, Tranmere 3. And if that happens, the writing should be on the wall for Paul Simpson.
Next up then is Grimsby Town against Bradford City. Now, Bradford City currently sits second in the league, 2 wins and a draw, where Grimsby Town sit in 18th, 1 win out of 3. Last week I mentioned Bradford 3-1 win over Bromley. A lot of people call Bradford bottlers and stuff like that, but could this finally be the year that Bradford City do something that in League 2? Who knows? They've started the season well, especially going away to a good MK Dons side and beating them 2-1. Whilst their visitors, Grimsby, didn't play on Saturday, they played on Thursday night, where they got absolutely battered by probably one of the best teams in the league, Notts County. Jody Jones, Dan Crowley, absolute masterclass from them on Thursday night against Grimsby. Controversy during the game, but the better team won by a country mile. In terms of my prediction for this one, I think Bradford are going to pick up another set of 3 points. I'm going to go with Grimsby Town 0, Bradford City 3. I can see an absolute comfortable away game for Bradford City. 3-0 is my prediction.
Next game then is Grimsby Town versus Bradford, the repeat of the League Cup first round, of course, between the two sides, where Grimsby did get the better of Bradford, of course. But Grimsby are coming into this game on the back of 2 heavy defeats at home to Sheffield Wednesday in the League Cup and away to Notts County in the league. This putting David Artell under massive pressure to be one of the first managers to be sacked, in my opinion. which is a bit hard for me because David Artell, he can only do so much. He's working with a limited small budget at Twinsby, and with all due respect, it is Twinsby as well, with all due respect. So they're always going to be like mid-table, bottom half of Year 2, while up against Bradford. Bradford started the season off quite well, to be fair, under Graham Alexander, Bradford. But for me, the thing with Bradford is they're a bit like Salford. They can start the season off quite well, but end up failing at the end of the season. So I still expect Bradford to fail this season, because I think it's still pretty much written. And also, they win one game and then they draw the next game, Bradford as well. So my prediction is I'm under for Doles in this game. I'm under for Twinsby 2, Bradford City.
This game then is Harrogate Town taking on Barrow. Now, Harrogate currently sit in 13th with 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat, whilst their visitors, Barrow, they currently sit in 4th, 3 games in. 2 wins and a draw, 2 wins and a loss, sorry, the loss coming in the Cumbrian Derby. Last week, Barrow, well, convincing one, a 4-0 win over a lot of people's fancying team, Port Vale. They absolutely dismantled Port Vale last week, Barrow, and Harrogate got a very, very good 1-0 away win over Colchester. In terms of my prediction for this one, both teams, well, Barrow have scored 5, conceded 1, whilst Harrogate have scored 4, conceded 5. So there are quite a few goals in between these two teams. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Barrow. I'm going to go Barrow to get a 2-1 win away at Harrogate. Harrogate 1, Barrow 2 is my prediction, and I think Barrow will continue their good run of form.
So next game then is Harrogate Town versus Barrow. Two sides who, for me, I think have done to a pretty decent start this season, especially Barrow as well. Barrow have been flying so far this season, except that defeat in Cumbria Derby against Carlisle. Which was probably the worst Cumbria Derby in history in terms of quality of both the teams. But obviously Barrow coming into this on the back of a 4-0 win over the transfer window champions, Port Vale. Well, Harrogate coming into this on the back of a 1-0 win at Colchester, of course. So my prediction for this game, I think it's going to be a tight game. For me. And I'm going for Harrogate 1, Barrow 1.
So then, this one is the one that most people on my channel will be looking forward to. Morecambe against Newport County. Obviously, Morecambe currently sitting rock bottom of the league. Haven't scored a goal yet, conceded 3 out of their first 3 games, while Newport County currently sit in 5th, 2 wins and a loss, scoring 8, conceding 5. And we looked good last week. We looked good against Accrington. Signs of worry, I think, when Accrington obviously levelled it up and they were starting to grow into the game, but then we just shut them down again. Courtney Baker-Richardson scoring a penalty, then Aaron Wildig making it 3. And I just think that it was the perfect performance in the end. We got over the line. And Morecambe, again, another 1-0 defeat. They just can't score goals at the moment, Morecambe. And they've lost, they've lost all 3 games 1-0. So it looks worse than what it probably is, but they just cannot score goals. I don't want to use my bias to this one, but I'm going to go Morecambe 0, Newport 2. I just think we get the 2-0 win, and we move on to Port Vale next at home. I just don't really see what Morecambe can offer as a threat. Morecambe 0, Newport 2.
Up next then, it's my team, Newport, who have actually got off to a good start the season after rolling the dice with their minds appointment, deciding to get Graham Cockendor and appoint Nelson Chadim. In, who probably no one has heard of. I know he was at Swansea course and stuff, that's all I heard of him. And this probably made sense with Hugh Jenkins and Nelson Chadim in, with Hugh Jenkins, the former Swansea owner, now Newport owner, of course. And, but yeah, the start of the season off quite well. Newport wins, then Doncaster Rovers, that's a brilliant win, to be fair. Then the win, then Saffron Stanley was expected, and only just using out in the high storm tour with the Cheltenham on the open day. Morecambe, we are struggling. They've had a struggling start to the season, which was probably expected. And they done been where decent battle on and Morton for me. They done been where decent battle. I still think they still have enough in their squad to just stay up by the teeth, but they don't need that dull story win at Morton to try and keep them up. But I think it's a straightforward win for me. My prediction is Morton 0, Newport 2. Doesn't fancy Newport in my...
Ultimate game of Saturday's fixtures sees it at the county ground as Swindon Town take on Notts County. Now, you know, both of these two teams would have had aspirations for potentially getting promoted. Notts County currently sit 10th in League 2 after the first 3 games, not losing a game, whilst Swindon Town haven't won a game yet this season. They sit in 21st, 2 draws and a loss out of their first 3. Last week, they did draw 0-0 away at Crewe Alexandra, which on paper ain't a bad result, but you know, they want to start winning games, and Notts County, as we mentioned, absolutely battered Grimsby 4-1. In terms of my prediction for this one, I am going to go with a Notts County victory. I just think Jody Jones, Crowley, I just think they've got way too much. Jatta up front as well. I'm going to go Swindon 0, Notts County 1. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think the quality of Notts County will shine through in the end. 1-0 win for Notts County.
Next game then, it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty straightforward game for me. Swindon versus Notts County. Swindon, I expected them to be down there at the start of the season. We are struggling. We are struggling, especially with the problems at the top of the football club as well. Notts County, so far this season, been showing their quality on paper, which is what they got. I'm still not convinced that the manager of Notts County will be the one to cross them across the line. I still don't know if he's done enough, but remains to be seen. But straightforward win for me. And Swindon 0, Notts County 3.
Final game of Saturday sees Walsall take on Cheltenham. Cheltenham currently sitting 16th. The only win they got was that 1-0 win, not 1-0, that 3-2 win over us. Whilst Walsall currently sit in 3rd. Obviously, apart from that defeat against Tranmere last week, I thought they've been excellent in all their games so far, even in the Carabao Cup. I think this one's going to be a very tight game because I think Cheltenham can still offer that threat. Michael Flynn up against his former team again. He's faced 2 of his former teams in the first 4 weeks of the season, which is mad. But I do think that Walsall are going to have enough. Like I said, they lost 1-0 last week to Tranmere. Cheltenham lost 1-0 to Wimbledon. I'm going to go, again, another 1-0 victory. Walsall 1, Cheltenham Town 0.
Next game then, you can call this the Michael Finn derby. Walsall versus Cheltenham. Obviously, Michael Finn, the former Walsall manager of course, heading back to Walsall as well, but this time it's Cheltenham manager. Again, I think this is a hard game to call. Cheltenham are inconsistent. Walsall are just what they are. Walsall are just Walsall. They always make it a tight game, home or away for me. Armandor, just because it's hard to call, Armandor for Walsall 1, Cheltenham 1.
Then the final game of the match day is on Monday night under the lights in Manchester, under the lights at the Peninsula Stadium. Salford City taking on MK Dons. Salford starting to pick up a bit of form, but they currently sit 20th in the league. Obviously, they lost on the opening day, didn't they? But back-to-back draws for Salford have sort of climbed them, not into form, but climbed them into a bit of momentum, not losing games. Obviously, they drew to Bradford and drew to Chesterfield last week. Whilst MK Dons picked up a massive 3-0 win over League 2 strugglers Carlisle, seeing MK Dons in 15th. In terms of this one, I think this is going to be goals. I think both teams defensively look shaky at times, but going forward can score goals. I'm going to go with Salford City 2, MK Dons 2 in this final Game Week 4 prediction.
And the final prediction is Salford versus MK Dons. You can call this the Carl Robinson derby as well. Carl Robinson, SMK Dons manager of course. His side, that's his Salford side, playing host MK Dons. MK Dons on the back of that 3-0 victory over Carlisle United, their first win of the season. The easiest victory they'll get MK Dons all season. Pretty much debates it, breaking Carlisle down, which isn't done enough from my team's perspective at all. And we should see MK Dons kick on now and try and move up the table. And for me, Salford seem to fail every season for me. Do seem to fail every season. Salford, Carl Robinson, wouldn't shock me to see him get sacked, to be honest, because that's what Salford do. Then they move on to the next one, a bit like Andy from Toy Story. Oh, I don't want to play with you anymore. In terms of the toys, that sort of analogy. But as my prediction, Salford though, they do seem to turn off with these games against the top teams. Salford. So I'm under for Salford 1, MK Dons 1, and a mass appreciation for Mike Green for getting me on this channel with these predictions, and don't subscribe to the legend that and the myth that is Mike Green.
Those are Game Week 4 predictions. Big up to Chris Welch for sending his predictions through. I do apologise for these videos being so long, 20 plus minutes on these videos, but you know, getting 12 predictions in from me and my guest is always going to be a bit longer. So hopefully you guys do enjoy these predictions videos. And you know, if you are a content creator or someone that wants to be a guest for one of these videos, let me know. Make sure to comment down below and we'll try and sort that out. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please make sure, as always, to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribe to Chris Welch. He's an absolute legend. Go subscribe to his channel, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Up the county. Just get that in there. Thanks for watching.